Hey, Roman, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, how's your day today? Is it early or late in night for you?
I'm GMT plus -1 from Germany, so I'm midday right now.
Okay. Then we are similar. GMT plus 3. Let's see how many people join. It's so random. Like 1 week we had 10 plus people, another day, last Friday we had 3 people. And now we have you and me, which is the lowest point yet.
All right,
For sure, there will be at least some team members who join up as I'm technically not a facilitator even today. But let's see, maybe there are workshops happening right now or like other meetings. But Roman, have you checked up on Beyond MVG past workshops or what we do in general, or how kind of aligned in a sense you are with the activities what we're doing here?
This is my first time joining in, and I'm basically in here just to listen in. The topic was interesting, so I thought I'm going to listen in.
Okay. Well, I will give you a quick tour guide for the application and a bit of like background, because I don't know how many people will join later and if they need like a full tour, so we may not need to repeat this information. So first of all, where is my chat now? We used to kind of collect like insights just in like a Miro board or meeting documents, and like survey. We did some surveys through Google form, and through that we captured like a bunch of insights and observations about like governance metrics, and we're like focusing on on-chain metrics. So on the challenge page, you will see multiple charts on the left side where it's kind of shows other voting status breakdown, like basically like HADA holder metrics, DRep metrics, SPO metrics, and CC metrics. So we'll cut down like the constitutional committee meetings. Each of these sectors have few like charts you can look into. These were like deemed the most interesting thing that people wanted to show. We updated charts over like past few months based on the previous insights. And now we have gotten into stage where we have like summarized all of that into now into challenges. So on the right side, you will see like this under this metric, there's a challenge, DRep voting power is concentrating. So, or under this percent of DRep votes that include votes with published rationale, under here there is like 3 challenges that were brought out. So yeah, that's like the starting work, or like the on-chain metric part that was done, and like these challenges. And now in these calls, what we have done previously, we were going through these challenges and making recommendation. So, and you can see a bunch of like we have around 30 recommendations. If you have any recommendations that is not fitting here, you can click add recommendation, and then people can write down the recommendation, add any kind of related challenges. You can have multiple challenges related to this recommendation, what the recommendation addresses. And this is how we kind of collect these recommendations. And now in the last workshop, for example, we are now prioritizing it in the prioritize page. Let's use this like Reddit style or like up-down voting, basically, to define should this be discussed or not. And yeah, so far yesterday we took the most voted item and had like almost like 50-minute discussion just on that one topic to go down, and we have like different guiding questions to surface like how valuable is that recommendation to be implemented and when. So that's like the workshop, what we do in a nutshell, and a bit of like insight into what the team itself is doing. Well, previously we created these charts and we're working on like governance reports, and also after this stage we are doing right now, the next stage is to help to draft CIPs or Cardano problem statements, or like push existing ones further.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm clicking through the website right now. I wasn't aware of this. It's very interesting. I'm going to click through it, and then if I have something, I try to come on these workshops and check this out. Yeah, very interesting. This is very interesting.
Well, even though we may have smaller audience than last time, and the good thing that has happened is that over the asynchronous activity, there has been more votes, and I even noticed some of the stuff has gotten like comments. So that's a great thing. Let me check if, yep, the session is recording also. So those are watching from the YouTube. So you also know that in the description below, you will find access to this app, and you can provide your comments. Then Ian Newguna, I don't quite remember your name, but I wonder, were you here before, and you know what this workshop is about? Because if you do, I will actually just go ahead and start already discussions without giving like too much demonstrations. And like, but if you need context, this would be a perfect place to ask. Well then, how do we want to start today? Do we want to take a few minutes to browse the prioritization dashboard? Because technically, at least 4 of us here, we are essentially able to, if you already did not vote, as you can see, I already have voted on some stuff, be able to kind of change the order. Alternatively, we can just go ahead and take a next item. I did a small update just 5 minutes before the workshop call started. Good thing is that website didn't crash. But here is like a few design elements. One is that if we have had the discussion in workshops, I created this like small icon and highlighted in different color. And right now I don't see any. There will be also green like background colors appearing for the items when we have multiple assessments by different people and few comments on an item to kind of indicate where the activity is happening asynchronously. So we don't just have like 30 same looking items. Okay, Simon, you're observing. Ian was probably also observing. Roman is new, and he saw this website first time, so probably you will have the most time spent on reading it. But good thing is that you can read also after the workshop, so this site doesn't go away. So perhaps we can open up with some kind of like discussion to kind of get the experience of what we do in these workshops, and for something for audience to watch from YouTube. So based on the most votes priority, and we have already discussed the DRep incentive, I will go to a next item, which is remove the requirement to select the DRep to withdraw staking rewards. And then this will mitigate some users simply picking the wallet default, which makes wallet DRep significantly more powerful than otherwise would be. And it's addressing one of the challenges called DRep voter power is concentrating. And we have link to more details. Usually GitHub has also like a bunch of comments. This one is fairly new, actually, on March 1, so 1 month old. There's a bit of guidance where it should be a person in favor. One person is in favor of that. Some kind of ledger-related suggestion. Yeah, because I assume that script withdrawal patterns outdated. Okay, so there was, I guess, a comment about how the like requirement works on the ledger side, and it's have been overturned. I recommend rooming to section as it's not relevant to CIP and will only confuse readers wrongfully thinking that this was ever a concern. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that. I said it multiple times elsewhere. I don't believe this restriction leads to any increase in participation and just leads to friction at the wallet level. So removing, I'm kind of confused. Like I think he's arguing that removing this kind of requirement for user to delegate to DRep to get SPO rewards will create friction. But he argues that this is hard to kind of implement. The huge reason why some wallets are largely Yoroi. Yeah, the Yoroi is one of the wallets that auto-delegates users or give the options to auto-delegate. And yeah, Fallen Icarus is kind of referencing that its process is a problem, not really the requirement. Agreed on a few meetings today. So yeah, it's interesting and quite like a straightforward recommendation. It's not as large scope in terms of like, will it really affect governance, or is this like a technical thing that we added? Removing, yeah, I personally don't think it has any kind of impact, like large impact, because essentially what happens is then most of the people who want SPO rewards and kind of do this motion, they will simply not delegate to DRep. And yeah, I guess that's it. And is that a good thing? I don't know. I would actually argue that if you don't care about governance, then maybe I don't participate. But would that be an auto abstain then? Or is there like a fourth category? Or does that mean, yeah, so it does put a sense of where the default value is then gonna reside. Any thoughts on the room on this particular recommendation, like in general? And Simon, you're writing that if they write rationales and vote like DReps, I don't see why they shouldn't get the rewards. I think the people who we are talking rewards about is the SPOs are getting rewarded. Or like they won't get rewarded if they don't delegate to DRep. Well, if no initial does, then I'm gonna share what do we have as like assessment. So each of these requirements have this assess submission. So if you're first timer, there's a button, how does scoring work, which kind of explains this score on the right side. By default, it's somewhere around 40, I think. Let's see if there are below average assessment. Okay, here is one without any assessment. So basically, a default score is 54. And the 100 score is basically if all the benefits are at maximum and all the costs are like minimum. So now I'm back to here. Then we have also Moscow tiers. Basically, it's like must, should, could, won't. So we have ability to choose which category, it's kind of high level, this recommendation should fall into. And then we have the scoring dimensions that go in detail, like how significant it is, how time sensitive it is, how many people want to address. And then we have the cost dimensions where it's like legal risk or maintainability. So if we address all of these areas, answer all of these questions, we should be able to get quite a nice holistic view of where this recommendation is sitting and how like required it is right now and what could be the priority for this. So when I press the assess button, it will open up me with these options to move stuff around. Already have myself, so every person who does that, they will create like their own scoring, and the average score will be used as the final score. So the first question is, how many people or processes are affected by this mechanism? Roman, let's start with you, and I'm gonna go round table. And so what's your thought on that? And there's like 1 to 10, is it how many people this recommendation will affect? Is it like few people or entire ecosystem?
I have no thoughts on that. Sorry, I can't help this. I am still following.
Okay, but Ian, how about you? Do we have any thoughts on how many people or processes are affected by this recommendation to remove the requirement to select the DRep to withdraw staking rewards? Following. Okay, so feels like today I'm the one who's going to talk, and 3 of us here in the call will all observe, which is, I can't do that. And then I guess the best you can both do is argue against me or object me if I'm going too off rails with my thoughts and or seeing some kind of dead end. So basically in here, how many people or processes are affected? I would say entire ecosystem. Just like the first thing, like because that's baked into our protocol, so everybody will feel that. All right, or not feel that. If we kind of remove it, then they kind of don't feel it. But in a sense, I think this has a huge impact. But now there is like impact in a sense is like impactful impact. So there is maybe a hard kind of consideration here. But in terms of just how many people and processes affects, I would put 10. Then is there a deadline or time pressure? I think, yeah, it's very, I could even say can wait indefinitely, because it's something that at least it personally doesn't bother me, but it may bother somebody. So here's a opportunities for others to kind of increase the value. Okay, hello, Ken. And Seul Jibiri. We are in a unique composition of people in this call today. Simon and Roman are mainly observing tonight, probably have some, and Ian too is going in and out, maybe connection issues. Roman is a bit new to this Beyond MVG process, so he's browsing around also around the like metrics and charts. So what we have decided for now is that I'm going to go through the top rated prioritization and basically have a monologue to how I think, and people can kind of comment and stop me where if my thinking is too far. And Simon, okay. But going forward, can this be built with existing tools? So our topic today is remove the requirements to select the DRep to withdraw staking rewards. Can this be built with existing tools? I would say yes. I mean, I think it's more about removal, so it feel like it's even low effort, considering you just need to make sure you don't break any dependencies. But I don't know. Feels like an easy thing to do. What resources would be needed? I think, again, very limited costs. Maybe talk to Ryan or somebody who has access to this. Ledger, well, technically everybody has access to that. So maybe even just asking Claude, hey, can you remove it, create a pull request, might be even like a solution here. Aligns with Cardano roadmap and priorities. Okay, this is hard one because it either way it doesn't really affect the roadmap. So I'm gonna skip that because it's like a very technical recommendation. Even yeah, it is addressing the challenge of DRep voting power is concentrating, but I don't know if this is like a solution here. It makes probably only affect the very specific wallet providers or platform providers. Yeah, to have less people who don't care about governance to vote for them or like to delegate to them. So but it doesn't stop concentrating. It just reduces the amount of people who participate. Aligns with Cardano roadmap prioritization. That's what. How quickly can benefits be realized? Yeah, but the question is, what are the benefits? So maybe there is some kind of like benefit that we can get realized. I guess I'm just gonna keep it in middle because that's a measurable thing, especially now as we have this feature and then we turn it off. If we would turn it off, we will definitely see kind of on-chain effect on this, and probably already in like few months. But yeah, is it like beneficial? That we don't really know. But I'm trying to value in a sense. So like the outcome should be quite quick. How much uncertainty is in this approach? I would say highly uncertain. But okay, it depends again, where do we look at this? Like for me, it's highly uncertain because I don't know if that's because it doesn't really solve the problem of concentration. That is like a pretty particular thing here. But like as a technical risk part of it, yeah, I think it's like low risk to remove.
Yeah, it's probably a very low risk because before it wasn't necessarily so. For the hard fork, basically doing a reverse.
I'm gonna lower it to 4 then.
Yeah.
Regulatory compliance considerations, I think none. Ongoing effort needed to maintain. Maintainability is also set and forget. But maybe we want to come back and reintroduce that, but it's still kind of the forget part. So after hearing my monologue, going through all of these assessments, does anybody want to have some final comments on the way I was thinking and assessing that requirement?
Yeah. I think it's in regards to DRep concentration. We've seen like a lot of the concentration might happen due to actually the default wall setting that you guys which we have identified. It have been happening over quite some time. I'm not sure if that it will have like an immediately effect, but perhaps in the long term it will be, because you cannot undelegate what's have been delegated to DRep as long as it's active.
Mhm. Okay. And now I'm going to also show the new feature. Admins can now say that this is discussed in workshop. Okay, it doesn't automatically update it. But if I refresh, what happens here, it gets this icon that we have discussed it. We have 30 minutes to go. I have no plans other than being in this call. So let's just pick up another one and go through that. Voter incentives applied R&D workstreams. Applied reach. Okay. Did I really now lose the expand button? I think I did. It's weird. This is not good that then I cannot show you the full info here.
Is this the one from Mark?
Yeah. Okay. So there is a awkward thing that I introduced, so I cannot fully expand the recommendation and that prioritization. Anyway, applied research and development workstream focused on incentive models to encourage delegators to be more active, redelegating their voting power more frequently according to DRep's performance is in order to break delegation stickiness. I conducted research and developed a model that would solve the problem. Okay. And then how can we increase meaningful participation? There are different ways to design governance incentive, and it's important to distinguish them clearly from the start. At high level, incentive mechanisms can be divided in two broad categories. Positive incentives, which are about behavior, and negative incentives, and to reduce benefits, add friction, etc. Both approaches aim to influence participation, but they do this in very different ways. And then it describes in governance, this could mean offering some additional benefits, and negative incentives in governance, this can make forms such as forcing users to take periodic actions to preserve access to rewards. And then it provides link to additional information. One it's an article, how can we increase meaningful participation, addressing DRep delegation stickiness, voter apathy and barriers to entry. Goes quite in length. So in simple terms, the answer is this: meaningful participation in governance can be increased by recognizing that incentives be designed either as rewards or as disincentives, either inside or outside protocol. The article suggests that the current governance problem is driven by concentration, inertia, and weak re-engagement. From the starting point, it points toward the need for a mechanism that make delegation more dynamic, lower the practical barriers facing smaller DReps, improve accountability. Also. And then we have another additional information here. Distributing DRep influence with delegator incentives, approaches to improve delegation decentralization and representation quality. As a result, proposals typically fall into three broad interventions: delegator side mechanism, reward expansion, generalized delegation rewards, increased emissions, reallocating value, creating new recurring obligation, access friction, conditioning, staking rewards, DRep side incentives and compensation, saturation caps, and DRep effective voting power. So it here has a lot of like context about incentivization ideas, or at least requirements, or having that overall idea how to do incentives. Threshold-based DRep delegation, and I guess there is also multiple recommendations here. So coming back to the item itself, essentially what it is proposing is applying delegating more active voting power more frequently. So based on title, it feels like there needs to be teams who work with incentives, and these articles kind of help to understand what goes into drafting incentives and disincentives. And
it was a lot of text to read there, but on a high level, it's looking at like a K parameter, if I understand it correctly, for DReps. They're talking about compensation and saturation caps, on their voting power.
Yeah, so this will be a little harder to assess recommendation, I feel like, because it's bundle of recommendations.
Yeah, they are.
But regardless, it's like incentivizing governance or like activity where people are experts or like the community comes together, understands an issue, and starts to come up with like models to experiment with. I think that's the only way we can like get a healthy governance. So instead of having like one or two entities to detect what is the experiment and what we're gonna experiment with. I
just read that article here now. I also see the here is called a bonus pool, but I also know that other in the community have been debating, doing a treasury draw and fully saturate stake pool and have that for distributing rewards. So
yeah, I think I saw somewhere a recommendation about that exact thing, that we create the stake pool and fully saturate it and use that to reward. Oh, maybe that was the last workshop comments where we touched that.
This first place I spotted, it was Yuda, who suggested this. It was an X post long time ago. So you have, but he didn't talk about K parameter or like capping the voting power, but from what I can read, at least from this voter incentivize, is that they are going for saturating a pool, bonus pool as I call it, also tapping DRep voting power.
But here, in that thing, what you're describing is these rewards then go to the voter or to the DRep. doing the voting?
It's for a DRep.
Okay, because now I just realized that both of these applied R&D work streams are done by Rodrigo, and the first one that we discussed last time, applied R&D DRep incentives, was also done. So I think he cut them into two different buckets. One is where it focuses on DRep incentives, and another one, which is we're looking right now, is looking at voter incentives. But yeah, in both cases, you can reward the users with stateful rewards, or like have some kind of mechanism for that. Okay, at high level, I would say yes, this is a must. We do need both something like incentives and disincentives, like a better gamification method that is more interactive and feels more healthy conversation for both voter and DRep. So I'm going to put it as a must, and as an impact, I put it 9 instead of 10, because it's still, like it won't affect, I think, everybody. I assume those companies who just want to use protocol for specific things, store their data or get verifications, or yeah, maybe even 8, those who are just storing as like an edge against risk asset, and just like distribute their portfolio. For those, it doesn't matter what do we do here, but yeah, I would put 8 still.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot. There is even calculation here, so and having circuit breaker for the jackpot epochs and boost factors. This is you have to take notes when you read this one.
Yeah, okay, see the bonus pool here. Yeah, this is a lot to read. But we do have Seun and Ken, so I don't actually have to do a monologue now anymore. So next question, is there a deadline or a time pressure for this? Any thoughts from Seun, Djibiri? How urgent or non-urgent you feel like this recommendation is?
Yeah, I think it's quite urgent, and it currently aligns with the absolute must, basically, because I'm reading, because I've not taken a look at, I'm just trying to understand a lot of things right now, but looking at it, the incentives and the disincentives are actually very important. And yeah, the saturation curve looks like, I think, is the better approach, because of like it is directly from the treasury, and so yeah, it's a must for me. A must.
Then for Ken, can this be built with existing tools?
So the pool part can be used by existing, as far as I know, but it is the distribution mechanism here that that is a little bit tricky. It needs a hard fork, and the reason for that is that the ledger. There are these 2 parts. The ledger doesn't see a DRep certificate. So like currently you can, for example, make logic with smart contract and stuff like that utilizing the DRep certificate. But I know, at least from what I have been catching up on, that is something is actually it's actually been looked into, and it has nothing to do with DRep compensation or incentivizing to do.
So we'll say feasibility is there 8 out of 10, but it
Yeah.
has technical risk of 5 because
It is a technical barrier that to be reached.
I would assume then the cost estimate will also go a bit, I don't know, as same as feasibility then. If it requires hard fork and ledger stuff, then it's IOG is going to ask a few million for that, right? So
Yeah,
sometimes
exactly.
it's like a good question. Should we pay millions to those who are in control of protocol, or use these millions to incentivize the people to actually do the work already? Because there was, in the chat when people, basically sharing that we have the tools, like as they are, they already work. The problem is just people don't collaborate. We don't look at the values we want to do, and the human layer is much harder to achieve. It's not about is the proposal is going up or not. If we can put any proposal up there and like anybody can budget the cost into there, but the human layer of getting people like into agreement and knowing that this is where we're going with this blockchain, this is the hard part, and it's not a technical issue. Anyway, aligns with Cardano roadmap priorities. I think it does, because we are trying to give, especially with this, we are like decentralizing power. Okay, somebody wants to get through my door. So, Ken, you are now in charge. We have 3 more questions, and then when I come back, you tell me what the numbers are.
Yeah, let's see if we can. I'm still trying to see if I can get the same view as table there.
You can't, because it's my instance. The question is, how quickly can benefits be realized? And regulatory compliance considerations, ongoing effort needed. These are 3 topics.
Yeah, well, when it comes to ongoing efforts needed for maintenance, so that is as everything that we put on when we do some changes. It probably need update, optimization, I guess here, Simon. Optimization. So there is maintenance there. Regulatory compliance consideration. No, I don't see any issues there. Technical risk. Probably, yes, Theo have put it up there. And how quick it can be realized. They have been debated that need to the development for this is a long process. So we are talking about 2, maybe even 3 years. Then on top of that, this needs to be prioritized along with other stuff like Deos or Boros updates, stuff like that. Oh, Theo forgot to mute himself.
All right.
You forgot to mute yourself, Theo. But now you have muted yourself. So similar like yesterday, it's a long road to implement such feature because you need to update the ledger. Regulatory consideration, that's absolute very low, and then maintenance like medium, I will say, because every time you do update, you have to look at previous changes.
I think it's even 5, because this is voter incentives applied work stream. So it's consistent research and development. And even if we implement that, you would probably need to another round to reevaluate how it's working right now and what do we need more. And the more we do it, probably the more active people get to coming up with new experiments. So I think that's has this high cost.
Needs to be tweaked.
Okay, cool. We now have 2 assessments for this, but both are must score. I think that's the highest score yet. And let's do this. And now it appeared. What? This show more button was not visible before. I don't know what's happening.
I could not open, let's say, get the same view that you have, but
everybody has their own assessment scores.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't see the exact same scoring.
I cannot get it up, assessment score at all. That was
interesting. What happens if you click on the prioritization item then?
Hold on, I will just share my screen here. So,
Okay.
there we go.
Okay. And your issue is?
Well, now I found I didn't find that button.
Okay. Well, we have, looks like an average 20 minutes goes for an item. So let's roll back on Roman and Seun. How you think so far the platform works? What the discussion is going? Do you feel the recommendations are like great here that are done? Do you think there are something missing? What's your kind of initial thoughts on the first workshop you joined in, aside from overwhelming amount of information?
Yes, this is the first point. A big amount of information, and for now I have to read in what all the recommendations are about, try to understand them, and then get into discussion. But as said, there are just many informations to take in when you first visit the website. That is for my part.
Can it somehow make it easier for users? Should I make like top 3 or like not, instead of throwing all the data at once? Like, are there any expectations for you to see different overviews or like top selections? Or you think this is fine and it just takes time to consume?
I think there has to be something like the ribbons. There are ribbons, but they have to be more specific for the topic maybe. Or, I read a strong recommendation is to support applied research, for the applied R&D incentives, and I have more to read into it until I understand what everything is about. Yeah, I think this has to develop over time.
Okay.
Anyway, welcome to Governance, Roman. We all start somewhere, and I'm glad to have you here. It's a steep learning curve, but everybody gets there eventually.
And Seun,
That's right.
how about you? How do you feel about today's workshop and at the platform in general? Maybe it's a good time to give feedback so that the next one that's happening on Friday will be even better.
Yeah, I share almost the same sentiment as Roman, but I prefer to take everything in, because I'm not new to governance per se in the Web3 space. I've done governance before, but I'm new to governance on Cardano. So I'm trying to take in all the information to be able to interpret it, and that's basically my sentiments. I feel this is going great. I like the Beyond MVG platform. I'm on it right now, and I'm trying to look through everything, and everything seems like fine. So I'll just take my time to read through it, understand it, and be better informed ahead of the Friday workshop.
Okay.
Something just come to me for an optimization. Maybe in such recommendations, it would be interesting to have the now state of the governance issue and then the recommendation on itself. What could it change? Like which metric could it change? Like I had to think about Polymarket, where you have different outcomes and you can kind of see what could change if I vote this or otherwise, kind of situation. That's just something that came to me right now.
Yeah, I wonder how it would be best implemented. At the easiest, I guess I could say, just the user tells me what's the current state is. But on the other hand, the challenges that we have crafted for this workshop series, they are kind of the current set state, which, for example, I opened up, remove the requirement to select DRep, and the user has applied supporting evidence that is DRep voting power is on concentrating. So that is kind of the current state. And if you, maybe it's not that, maybe it's cool if I share screen again. And it's like small features hidden all over the place. So when you open up a nice challenge and you see these supporting evidence, every place where you see this M21, this is actually the chart name. So you can open up, and that is the affected, like metric. Although,
I mean, like
it's hard
exactly
for
like
person
this.
to explain what metric
because
actually
if
changed.
a recommendation would be there and some kind of related graph would appear there, and then it said, if we vote for this, the outcome could be this. Like just for visualization to get more into the topic and what the recommendation is about.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is show you also a bit of feature on the right side panel. There are 3 options. One is, of course, the support, feedback, and AI assistant. Worth to try it out. It's not perfect, but every feedback you give through the agent itself, for example, who is in Beyond MVG. I don't know if it answers it correctly, and as I understand that. But what I'm trying to show is that it has this rate response option. And if you rate that, whatever you submit, then we will see the result. And I can optimize the AI to give better answers. And also we then know what people are actually asking and are interested in.
All right. I see. All right.
Right now, it doesn't really tell who it is. We know that Fanny is part of the team. We know that Ken is. So it's AI is like doing a guessing game, but he's not really quite sure who is in the team. He does not know about me, and it leads to a link.
Well, what was the queries?
I asked who is in Beyond MVG team.
Oh, and
it says it's not detailed, although it's quite detailed. It's in the front page of the framework itself. With 1% accuracy, it suggests to look at what is that? Just looking at the interview notes. Okay, so technically this was like a kind of bad, not really trustful. So I'm gonna save. We can now next time when I look up the improvements to do for the website, I know that I can fine tune the documentation that has information about the team itself and make sure it kind of recognizes that. So that's one feature. And another, what you mentioned was an ability to add future state for recommendation, aka what happens if this gets accepted. This is enough. And then again, same thing, feedback will be registered and I will be able to pick it up when I'm doing development.
Well, this AI explains a lot of the DMs I have got. Okay, well.
Alrighty. Well, with that, I think today we are done. We got 2 workshops or like 2 discussions covered, a bit of that. Everybody is welcome to ask synchronously, to add comments, add assessments. And the next time we meet, we go again, I guess, from the top votes. And yeah, see where we land. And everybody who does able to consume all the content, if it's too much to like do it manually now, as there are so many recommendations, on top here you have the data button, and you can export yourself some data if you just want to feed it to your agent and kind of talk it this way, because our agent may not be that great for that, but you may have fine-tuned stuff. Okay, thanks for joining again, and see you on another.
And thank you,
Thanks
Tebo,
for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Teva, for hosting. Bye.